Creatures of the night, it's your favorite ghoul talk. Let's talk about AEW Collision. Yesterday's show was more interesting than tonight. It's a tape show, and I always feel like tape shows have like a different vibe than a live show. So for me, it just didn't hit as strong. So I don't know if other people felt the same way too. Just felt like something was a little off in comparison to Dynamite. But we still have Continental Classic matches playing out on this episode, and a few other new developments going on as well. We started off with the Gold League match with our bastard Pac, going against Speedball Mike Bailey. Had to give a little prayer for Speedball before this match, because I think anybody with two pairs of eyes would see that Pac would take the win. I thought it was interesting to see them for the first time one-on-one. I think ever, if anything, because I've never seen them in a ring before. And Pac just was more dominating than Speedball. Speedball, I think the best thing he could have possibly tried to go for was just lasting the 20 minutes and just say, hey, let me just see if I can make it alive for 20 minutes. And obviously that wasn't going to happen. So Pac ended up taking the win. I thought the match was okay, but definitely seeing the size difference, the strength and everything. Pac is a completely different athlete. Both guys are really athletic guys, but Pac is just on another level that Speedball is just not on. And I think the right person took the win. Now after this, they do end up announcing that Pac will have his next match with Okada next week on Dynamite, which is very interesting. Can't wait to see these two go at it. And then we get a chance to see Daniel Garcia, who's doing an interview backstage with Jon Moxley in the background, being like a cheerleader dad or something. And he is talking about how he's going to have his match with Daddy Magic coming up in a moment. And I was like, oh, we're still doing this Daddy Magic thing? Didn't y'all kill him the last time he was on the show? And after he talks about Daddy Magic, then he goes to mention that once he's done taking care of the trash, then he's going to be looking to get his hands on the TNT Championship once again, which is very interesting. Now after this, we get a chance to hear from Brodito. They're obviously sad about losing the tag titles, but they say that, hey, we have really great chemistries. We're brothers now forever, so we're going to continue this tag thing going on. But then Brody goes on and remind not just the world, but also Bandito that he is the Ring of Honor World Champion. And honestly, thank you for bringing that up, Brody, because I think everyone forgot, because he's never there. Now, he ends up bringing this up, and I was like, okay, fine. They're bringing it up. They typically don't really get into the Ring of Honor thing on AEW, so I thought that was interesting, because right after that, they end up announcing that, I didn't hear this at first. I had to play it back, but they said Roosh was injured, which honestly, I don't know when that happened. I have no clue about that, but we're just hearing that for the first time. So at Final Battle, Bandito is going to be putting his title on the line in a survival of the fittest match. So he's going to be going in the ring with 5 other wrestlers, which is our boy Blade Christian. We love Blade, Beast Mortos, Sammy Guevara, and Commander and Hechisato. Did they say Hechisato? I think they said Hechisato. Whatever. Honestly, I was just like, I guess we're at that point that we just can't do anything else. If Roosh is injured, then Sammy obviously isn't doing anything else, so he might as well just do this. I mean, look, this is the problem when you have a promotion and you're not prioritizing it as much as you do your other promotion, and then we kind of feel like, okay, we're just throwing matches on the card just to do it because obviously we got a pay-per-view to do. I think they could have done a lot better in terms of what the next move would be for Bandito, but this is the best that they can do, apparently. After this, we have Danny Garcia, who comes out and decimates Daddy Magic. Daddy Magic is bleeding profusely for no reason, if you ask me, while Jon Moxley is on commentary, gracing us with his voice. Now, Danny Garcia, I really like him. But I have yet to really feel him in terms of him being part of the Death Riders, and I just don't know, like something is just not there yet. And I want him to be part of the group, but I feel like you have to convince people of why you're in this group. Like when Wheeler Yuta got into BCC, he earned his way there, you know what I mean? So it wasn't just like we just we just took him in with open arms. Like, he literally earned his way there. And I feel like that wasn't the case with Danny Garcia. And I want to see sacrifices. I want to see bigger moves from Danny Garcia in order to show that, hey, I earned being here in the Death Riders and I'm a good fit for them. So while I like him, I just want to feel more of a connection with Danny Garcia in that group. After Danny Garcia takes the win, here comes our new TNT champion, Mark Briscoe, who comes out. He has a new title. So he has a new title that's a camouflage strap, and it has gold and silver on it. It's kind of cute, but it's not the best looking one that they've had. And basically addressing Danny Garcia in terms of, putting the title on the line. They don't say when that's going to happen, but Joe Moxley had got up from commentary and he whispered something into Danny Garcia's ear, and then he went back to his seat, and Mark Briscoe continued to talk, and then Mark Briscoe seemed like he was ready to get physical with Danny Garcia, but I'm guessing whatever Joe Moxley told him made Danny Garcia leave the ring and not get physical. So I thought that was really interesting. Like I said, Danny Garcia, I found it interesting that he's going back into the TNT title scene. I don't know how that's going to work out for him, but I will say that it was last year at Full Gear when he did win the TNT title. I believe it was Full Gear. And then immediately they announced him to be part of the Continental Classic last year. And that's where they fucked up Danny Garcia's title reign, because like that first month of him being TNT champion had nothing to do with him being TNT champion. It was literally just him and the Continental Classic and taking L's along the way too. So I don't think we got a chance to experience him as a good champion, if you ask me. So we're going to see him and Mark Briscoe at some point in the future with this title on the line. After this, we do hear from the man. We have Ricochet, who is thankful for being the new AEW National Champion. And we have the Gates of Agony, who are now the man. They're thankful for being part of this group together. And they're obviously going to go on to the bigger, better things. And before they do that, they got reservations at a restaurant in Nashville. So they're not expecting much in terms of quality food, but they're going anyway. Now, after this, we have FTR, who comes out to talk about them being champion. And I was just like, oh my God, please don't sit here and talk for like 50 minutes. Because they always do. I mean, look, great wrestlers, amazing. I love them as a team. But the minute they talk, they lose me every single time. They're pretty much saying the same shit. Anyway, we had the Bang Bang Gang who came out, Juice Robinson and Austin Gunn, saying that, hey, a couple of weeks ago, we actually whooped y'all asses, and there was no titles on the line. And we think we should have an opportunity to go against y'all at some point for these titles. And it seemed like that's where the route that they're going, when we actually don't know. Now, after this, we have MXM Collision, who's doing their open casting call, and what the fuck, Mason and Mansoor. Mansoor is the Tin Man, and he is just glammed up, okay, as a Tin Man, while we have Mason, who is a cowardly lion, and he got his little face paint or whatever, like a child did it. I don't know. These guys are fucking hilarious. I love them. So with the casting call, it could be trios, it can be 8-man, it can be whatever, and it turned out to be a trios match, which was the Outrunners teaming up with Dalton Castle. Dalton Castle came out with the boys, and honestly, it looked like they just, we could have chosen a lot better cute guys in terms of being the boys. They come out there, and the match is, it's just the comedy thing, but like not necessarily in a good way. So I'm just like, all right, we get this with these group of people, MXM and the Outrunners and Dalton, like they're always doing the comedy thing. And I'm not saying that it should be serious, but like I didn't really necessarily find myself entertained with this. Outrunners and Dalton end up taking the win, but did it really matter when we had the man come out there and beat up everybody? So honestly, I'm not really sure where things are going, but at least the man are out there making a name for themselves, even if that means it's going to be on the winners of this match. Now, I forgot to mention this, but apparently after they beat up Outrunners, MXM and them, There was some country singer in the crowd. I don't know his name. I don't listen to country music, so I don't know. Ricochet got into a little shouting match, a little promo on this guy, and the guy came through the barricade, and they get the securities and the referees to keep them away from each other. And I'm just like, I don't know who this guy is, and I don't know why we're arguing. So that is not as interesting as it would be for other people. I don't know. Now to this. We had the Don Callis family backstage, and they're talking about the things that they are grateful for. Everyone's saying all these wonderful things about Don Callis and how they're grateful for being in the family. And then you have Okada, after everybody said nice things, who go on and say, I'm thankful that I don't have to team up with Takeshita. And I was like, hey, I know he ain't being a petty bitch again. Now they're arguing, Takeshita and Okada about to fight, and the boys are keeping everyone away from each other. Now, this is probably what you probably would see on Thanksgiving, family getting together, and there's a little scuffle here and there, which makes sense. I am really looking forward in terms of who's gonna make the finals at the Continental Classic, because I really do feel like they're really playing into Takeshita and Okada. But let's say if that wasn't the case, let's say if what we're expecting, which is those two make to the finals, were not the case, who would be there? I still think that Okada may make it to the finals, but I would like to see someone else other than Takeshita to make it. Either way, the stories can still play out between the two of them. After this, the wrestler Shibata, we love Shibata, going against Eddie Kingston. I forgot this was actually happening today. I thought this was for next week, but whatever. I'm disappointed. I really am disappointed. Now, I love Eddie. I love Shibata. However, at what point are we, is being a trios champion anything? Is it anything at all at AEW? This is so, I'm trying to find the words. Like, the lineage in terms of trios championships is not that great, but I thought that this was a good idea for having Joe, Hobbs, and Shibata as champion. Maybe not at first. Maybe I thought that, oh, okay, this is different. But they put them together, and I actually like them together, especially now that they're heels. But like, when Shibata and Hobbs lost to Hangman last week, I was like, all right, I'll take that, because Hangman is the champion. Like, why would they win? But then again, you're thinking, all right, yeah, I don't see why they would win, but they are trios champ. They're holding world titles, so they should look favorable anyway. But here is Eddie Kingston, who has been back for a little bit since All Out. Only had only one singles match I can actually think of, and the rest of the time he's been babysitting Hook. And they've been having squash matches and not really putting much work in, to be honest with you. And he comes out here and just beats Shibata like he ain't no champion. I don't see why we doing that. I get there's an issue with, Eddie and the Ops right now, but I don't feel like the trios champions are looking good in any way. The trios titles kind of feel like an afterthought. They're never on pay-per-views. You don't see any title defenses, and they're losing. Only saving grace here is Samoa Joe with the world title, and that's literally it. And I feel like the trios champs deserve better than that. Anyway, Eddie Kingston, he wins. He gets on the mic and he has to shoot, I guess, for a few minutes. And he's talking about how much he loves AEW, the fans, and all this shit. And what's so interesting about it is that this guy, oh my God, he literally is dropping F-bombs and whatever other words. And I'm just like, the people in the truck are holding onto that button because they just know that everything, they're going to have to bleep out everything from Eddie. I like that. I like that realism from Eddie Kingston. But he doesn't want to address the whole Hook situation, basically saying that, he said, Hook is my dog or some shit like that. I was like, no, he's not. He literally he betrayed you. He literally betrayed you. He pretended to be friends with you. He pretended that he needed a babysitter when really he was still with the Ops. So I don't know why he's still kind of holding off on the Hook thing. But he ended up mentioning that he wants to go against Samoa Joe for the world title. And that's going to end up taking place on December 10th at Winter is Coming. So we're not even wasting any time to stretch this out to the pay-per-view. We're getting straight to it in 2 weeks. Now, after this, surprise, surprise, Red Velvet has some words for Mercedes Moné. Long story short, she wants to go against Mercedes for a rematch at the Final Battle pay-per-view, because she ended up mentioning that Mercedes, you wouldn't even be on Ring of Honor. Like, you don't even show up over there, so I'm giving you a reason to show up so you can go against me. And honestly, she ain't lying. She ain't lying. Typically, based off what I've been seeing with Ring of Honor and AEW these past few years, when somebody from AEW wins, they typically do not go on Ring of Honor for nothing. Even though they're the champion, they don't go over there for the most part. And I'm talking, when I say for the most part, I mean like 95% of the time they don't. And they would end up defending those titles within AEW TV or pay-per-view rather than on Ring of Honor. So Mercedes, she ain't doing anything else, so she might as well come on over to Final Battle to put the title on the line against Red Velvet. My only complaint here is I wish that they would have a feud. I don't want to see, oh yeah, let's have a rematch or let's have a match. Like, that's not a feud. That's not a feud. I want to see people scrapping backstage. I want to see stories being told with people, and just having like one match and then 2 weeks later another match is not a feud to me. These two girls deserve a lot more in these series of matches. Now, after this, we have Tekla going against Tay Mello. Honestly, I don't know if this is like random, but I don't know where this came from. For me, Tekla is very interesting. I've always enjoyed Tekla even before she came to AEW. But Tay Mello, I just have no connection with her. Like, she's been there for a really long time. I know she took time off, obviously. She became a mother and took time off. But I still feel like no connection. Like, in terms of like a personality, it's just not there for me. Tekla obviously is so interesting, so I wanted her to win, and she ended up taking the win. The match was okay to me. After the match, Sisters of Sin came on out there and put the pause on Tay Mello, which I would have joined in too if they asked me to join in. But then Jamie Hayter and our champion, Chris Statlander, come out there saving Tay Mello, which is interesting because I would not have expected these two girls to do so. But we'll see where things are going. Chris Statlander, she needs a opponent, a feud going on with somebody. The key word of the day, Tony Khan, is feud. Like, I just don't want to see people saying, hey, I want to go against somebody and just happen. I don't know if I would throw in Tekla to already go against Statlander, but I think that it would be interesting to see more out of Tekla in AEW. Main event for the Blue League, we had Konosuke Takeshita, the Alpha, going against Roderick Strong. And I love both of these guys. I was like, oh my God, don't make me choose. I just don't want to choose between these two. Roderick, before they even announced Continental Classic, I said Roderick needs to be in this. He needs to be in this. But then, you know, the whole thing with Okada and Takeshita has been playing out, and that's kind of in the way. Roderick Strong is so talented, and I would love to see him actually win this tournament. Like, I feel like people be sleeping on Roderick and even Kyle O'Reilly. They're really great talent. Something like this would be really a great opportunity for both of these guys, but unfortunately Kyle O'Reilly is not in this, so Roderick Strong is holding it down for the boys. And I thought he had a really great match with Takeshita. Takeshita, though, ended up taking the win with a raging fire. Like, I felt like the entire match felt like it was nicely paced, but that last few seconds just kind of felt like, Roderick, you could have gotten up from that raging fire. Something about it just felt like you kind of climax, and then it's just like, oh, that's it. You know what I mean? So it was like that. And I was like, oh man, Roderick, I think Roderick could have blasted up a little bit longer, possibly even go for the draw, if anything. Takeshita ends up taking a win, and Uncle Don celebrates with Takeshita in the ring. So Takeshita has 3 points. Takeshita, Claudio, Pac, Moxley, who am I missing? I think I'm missing. And Kevin Knight so far has 3 points on the board in the Continental Classic. We still got a whole month left of matches and seeing like where things are going to go in terms of the tournament, and that will end at World's End. Overall, I thought the episode, I was bored a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I was bored a lot. The matches kind of kept me going, but overall, something about it just felt a little bit different in terms of the energy. But hey, we can't expect for every show to just be perfect or anything. But I am expecting a lot more quality entertainment as we get closer and through the Continental Classic. I'm looking forward to World's End and where it's going in terms of that tournament. You guys, thanks so much for watching my review. I'll be back tomorrow for Ring of Honor. See you guys then.